Hello everyone and welcome back to the Domestic Cricket Podcast. It's been a while, but we're back on quite short notice. Cricket Australia has released the remaining fixtures for the Sheffield Shield for this summer, as well as a full one-day cup competition, which I'm very excited about, and I know these two gentlemen up next to me. I'm joined by our regular co-host Sam Fitzgibbon, as well as my younger brother and massive New South Wales Blues fan Ethan Bland. And we're going to be delving right into both the Sheffield Shield and the Marsh One Day Cup fixtures that have been released only a couple of days prior. And there's plenty to get through, there's plenty of matches coming up. Cricket Australia have managed to pretty much keep the same sort of fixture apart from the start of the domestic season in Adelaide. Same sort of format, other than a few teams having to play an extra game here and there. So it's great to see. It all kicks back into action on the 12th of February at the Gabba between Queensland Bulls and Victoria. Now Victoria have to catch up 7 games, as there will be nine matches per side in this Sheffield Shield before the final. Victoria have only played 2. New South Wales and Queensland have played 3 each. They have 6 remaining, and the rest of the state sides have 5 matches to get through. And a week later, after the Queensland v Victoria clash, New South Wales take on Western Australia at the SCG, which I'm sure you'll be very pleased to attend that.
Me Western Australian men.
Yep, massive Warriors fan, Sam. And obviously SCG, very local. We're Sydney-siders, so we'll definitely try and get to that clash. It'll be an excellent game, really. 2 days after that, Victoria take on my Tassie Tigers. I know I'm wearing Queensland Bulls retro jersey, but I mean, why not? It's a domestic cricket podcast after all. Sam's got his Bush Rangers jersey, Nathan's got his New South Wales Blues training shirt from a few years back. And that's at the MCG, the clash between Victoria and Tassie. Which is great to see some Shield back at the MCG, even though not many attend. It's still great to have cricket at such a historic venue. And on the same day, Queensland will take on South Australia at the Gabba, which, Redbacks failed to win a game in the Adelaide Hub, even though they were playing at home. So if there any chance to make that top 2 and make the final, I think they've got to win almost all 5 of their remaining fixtures, possibly get away with just 4 due to a shorter season. Ethan, do you want to take us through the next 3 matches coming up?
Yep. So on the 1st of March, you have Caleb's Tassie Tigers taking on the Western Australian men at Hobart.
Great to see cricket back at Hobart. 2 great stacked fast bowling sides. Probably the 2 strongest fast bowling cartels going around, Tassie and Western Australia. And at Hobart, we know how good that is for swing bowling. So it would be fantastic to see a swinging ball again. And I'm not sure whether they're going to use the Duke ball this half of the season. I haven't really talked about that yet. But if they are, that ball could be swinging right angles, and it would be great to see that compared to the very better friendly wickets they had in the Adelaide Hub.
And on that same day, at the same time, you've got South Australia Redbacks taking on my New South Wales Blues at Adelaide Oval. Don't know what to say.
And then the next day, Victoria take on Queensland at the MCG once again. 8 days later, 10th of March, Tassie once again are at home playing against the Redbacks, South Australia at Blundstone Arena. Day after that, New South Wales are taking on Victoria at a venue to be confirmed. We're not entirely sure where this could be. I think the SCG must be unavailable from about the 11th of March onwards, with the NRL and AFL taking place there. So I'd hazard a guess it'd probably be at Drummoyne Oval, would you say? What would your guess be?
So what game? Yeah.
Blues and Victoria. It hasn't been decided.
Most likely, I reckon.
Potentially North
Drummoyne.
Sydney Oval.
There's not going to be much cricket at Drummoyne, is there?
No, not during that half. So yeah, actually, I don't think there's any one-day cup matches there. We'll delve deep into that. Hurstville as well. That'd be great. Local to us.
Shield.
Yeah, they had the first ever Shield game there. Mitch Stark took a hat trick in both innings. I had the pleasure of being there, and I tell you what, it was some amazing scenes. No one thought he could do it once, let alone twice. And then Western Australia take on Queensland on the same day at the Wacker Ground. Very funny, even. There's plenty of matches to get through, and I must say it's very hot here in our studio. Do you want to take us through the next three as well, Ethan?
Yep. So we got 25th of March. WA take on South Australia Redback.
Gotta get through those games yet, Ethan. Far out, mate. Getting ahead of yourself. So the 20th of March, Tasmania take on Victoria at Blundstone. On the same day, Queensland take on New South Wales in a state of origin fixture. Allen Borderfield. And then, where Ethan was up to, the 25th of March, Warriors take on South Australia at the Wacker Ground. Now you can take us through some more fixtures, Ethan, if you'd like.
So the 28th of March, you've got Victoria men taking on the New South Wales Blues at
the City Power Centre, which I have been to.
St Kilda.
In St Kilda, great venue, home of Cricket Victoria. They've done that ground up really nicely, obviously hosting World Cup matches. In the Women's T20 World Cup was a massive achievement for Cricket Victoria, getting the ground up to such a good scratch. And then moving on to the 6th of April, yes, you've heard that right. There's plenty of matches still to come, and we're already into the first week of April, and this match is at quite possibly my favourite first-class venue in the entire country, North Dalton Park in Wollongong. Plays host to New South Wales Blues and the South Australia Redbacks. The same day, the Tigers take on Queensland, who Queensland, I must say, do have a very strong fast bowling unit as well. That'll be an interesting clash at Blundstone Arena. And also on the same day, kind of getting into that same structure where we play 3 different games on the same day as we did last season. Getting into that now with Western Australia taking on Victoria at the Wacker Grounds. And then the 15th of April, mark this in your diaries, it will be the Sheffield Shield final. Venue to be decided, whoever comes first hosts. Now, if New South Wales come first, 15th of April, North Sydney Oval not available, Drummoyne Oval not available, SCG not available, North Dalton Park not available either with either local or professional rugby league or AFL. What venue hosts the Sheffield Shield final if New South Wales come first?
Honestly, I reckon. Well, there's not much actually to choose from, to be honest.
I think they may have to take it regional. Because I think Wollongong was going to host the Shield final last year. Actually, that was going to be hosted there, but unfortunately COVID cancelled all that out very soon. Coffs Harbour is another venue. Obviously, I travelled there 4 years ago to watch their only ever Shield match, the Philippines tribute match. Fantastic venue. It's just been upgraded. Obviously, a lot of you would have seen the Sixers Adelaide game in the Big Bash last year in what was one of the most packed stadiums I've ever seen. They were lining up for legit an hour and a half to get in. And this is a venue that only holds 10,000, so I think that could be a great choice. I don't think they're going to go back to Newcastle, although Newcastle #1 field is possibly one of the better regional venues going around in the state. Cricket New South Wales had some issues with the council there about pay disputes who funds Shield matches, so they've tended not to go back to Newcastle. But I think Wagga Wagga as well, but I think Wagga Wagga will well and truly be into the AFL season. It's massive down there in the Riverina. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see if New South Wales can come first, who hosts that. Queensland are okay. They've got Allen Borderfield, which has a cricket pitch freshly mowed all year round, home of Queensland cricket. Victoria will be okay. They've got their own venue, obviously City Power Centre. Western Australia have the Wacker, which isn't used for any winter sports. Tassie, Blundstone Arena and UTAS Stadium in Launceston will both be out of action due to Australian rules football. So what happens? They don't really have any other first class grounds. But they do officially, but they haven't used them in a while, like North Hobart Oval and Kingston Twins Oval. It'll be interesting to see what happens if Tassie can come first, but that's unlikely. And we've also got South Australia, who I think Karen Moulton Oval may still be a cricket pitch in winter. I know they do play the local AFL there, but they may keep that available. So yeah.
What about like a general cricket park, like the one down down there.
Yeah, well, they could have to resort to the
Southern
local
Oval.
Savo Oval. They could have to
The
resort
shocker of the pitch. I played there. It's a shocker.
a tacky wicket, but I mean they're short of grounds. That's the problem with having the Shield final 15th of April well into the winter sports season. It'll be interesting. Look, it could be good for regional venues, but you know it'll be interesting to see how all that plays out. So that's our recap of the Sheffield Shield remaining fixtures. We will be returning to weekly episodes on the 12th of February. Mark it in your diaries when the Sheffield Shield returns at the Gabba. It's exciting, this Sheffield Shield draw. I think everyone still has a decent chance. South Australia, you know, they underperformed in their Adelaide hub, but they did play fairly competitive, unlike they have in other seasons. So, yeah, I think we've got a really good Sheffield Shield season coming up. Potentially some international players coming in the last round and the final during April. I don't think there's any international fixtures around then for the Aussie squad. So, you know, looking forward to what this Shield season has to offer. Thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you February 12th.